Give it a couple minutes for people to come in. If anyone here, let me know. A little spur of the moment, but there's been something on my mind. I've been wanting to make a video about it for a long time and haven't gotten around to it. So, well, I have a chance. I just figured I would go live and get it out of the way. I'll give it a minute or two. If you can hear me okay, let me know. So this should be a good one. I know I've mentioned it on my Facebook page before, but it's been a while. And, people just overlook a lot of things, and I want to help people to fill in the gaps in their prepping if I can. So I know it's Saturday night, it's before Mother's Day, everybody's busy. So if I don't get anyone, I'm just going to go ahead and talk to myself. So what if you can tell from the title, it says, to stock the stuff to make the things. A lot of times when I'm talking to people about prepping, they say, oh, well, when it goes down, we will do this, or I will make this. Things like we'll be putting up a fence, or I'll be making our own soap, or I'll be canning. That's great. That's the mindset you should have. But do you have everything that you need to be able to do those things? And for an extended period of time, when it really hits, nobody knows how long it's going to last. So, some examples of things, um, that I'm talking about, like, okay, so we're going to garden. Well, that's great, but do you have everything that you need to provide for your garden for years out? Do you have extra fencing stored away? Do you have, weed barrier and landscape staples and fencing staples? Um, Hi, good morning, Austin. Do you have, obviously, I'm good, thank you. Hope you're doing well. I'm talking to all of you guys. Hi, Ohio Valley. How you doing? Upstate New York, Austin. So anyway, in a prepping scenario. Hey, Chance, how are you? So basically, what I'm getting at is, if you're planning for long term, you need to make sure that you have the stuff now, especially with all of these, supply chain issues and tariff um, issues. No, Austin, I'm not going to do that. I've been in the garden all day. I'm a mess. Um, Thank you, Chance. I appreciate that. So, fencing supplies. Everybody knows that you need seeds. Great. Seeds are only one part of the equation when it comes to the gardening piece of things. Hey, TR, how you doing? Um, you need to have all of your tools. Hey, Eric, good to see you. You need to have everything that you're going to need to be able to do things in a shit hit the fan situation. Hi, Livia, how are you? So think about what you're doing now. Hey, JS Genesis, good to see you. Um, think about the things that you're doing to prep your garden this year. What have you had to go out and get? And what are you using up that you already had, around you? Do you have enough fencing to last you several years when yours runs out? Do you have enough weed barrier? Do you have enough hand tools? Do you have enough seeds? Do you have the things that you need to collect seeds? Um, so many little things to overlook when it comes to canning. Do you have a stockpile of jars and lids? And do you have citric acid, for example? Um, these are things that aren't going to get any cheaper. And there are a couple things that I've seen that are just plain hard to get now. Um, Sam's Club has some really good deals on their weed barrier, which I love. I think it's professional quality. I've used it for a couple years now, and it doesn't degrade after just one season like a lot of things do. So if you're a Sam's Club member, check it out. They also have a 110-foot pretty good duty hose. for like under 30 bucks. And I just bought another one. I had one from last year. It actually did survive the tractor accident. So I bought another one this year to hook up to that one to reach my new garden beds. Um, and Hey, Eric. Yeah, seeds in the ground, it's hard. I don't have any of my seed starts in the ground yet, but today so the last couple days, we've only had a couple of breaks in the weather. Yeah, Ohio, thank you. And actually, there's a couple of blue wrenches I want to put out here because, you guys are always here for me. So, congratulations, Ohio and Eric. You guys should both have some blue wrenches now. Um, so I got the blueberries, the raspberries, and the blackberries, and the rhubarb. Oh no, Ohio. We should be done with frost by now. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. And but I did get things that in the ground that can withstand a frost, and I do have some things hardening off out in the Ohio Valley prepping isn't real. Out in my little mini greenhouse, and I still have a bunch of stuff in here. But back to, prepping and stockpiling the things to make the things. A lot of people say, well, I'll make our own soap. Well, that's great, but do you have a way to get the fats that you're going to need? Do you have lye stockpiled? If not, do you know how to make lye? Because it can be made fairly easily, but there's ways to do it. There's things you need to make sure that you don't have mixed into it. There's a way to test it to make sure that it's the right strength. So just all these really primitive skills, like you can't do it on your own. You have to have a stockpile of ingredients and equipment. I agree, Chance. And I love the Sam's Club weed barrier. Hey, Demon Bro. Anybody who doesn't know, Demon Bro is my son. He likes to pop in and harass me once in a while, but he's a good kid. So, people talk about, making bread. Okay, great. Well, how much yeast do you have? If you don't have it, do you know how to collect it and how to make it? It's just these things that people don't talk about or people don't think about. They stockpile food, they stockpile water, and that's all well and great. But what do you need to be able to hunker down and make you, self-sufficient enough that you're going to be able to provide for your family for the long haul? I did film some content the other day. I haven't edited it yet. I was out planting my blueberry bushes, and I talked about working smarter, not harder. And I want to go through some of the things that I put in that video because I don't know if I'll ever, get it out. You drink too much. Only so, Eric, if anybody starts getting inappropriate in the chat, you can boot them. That's about it. That's what I need your wrench for. I've already had a couple. So that's the danger of doing these vertical lives is, people scrolling through. And I think one of my first comments was a bunch of eggplants and some splashy marks. So, stuff like that comes through, get rid of it. If it's just something stupid, I have a thick skin, I can deal with it. But if it's inappropriate, my kid's in the chat, just get them out of here. So working smarter, not harder, a lot of people know that I'm disabled. I have POTS syndrome and I have fibromyalgia, and I also have like a lot of degenerative problems with my spine. So for me to be able to adequately garden, which I love doing, it's not just a hobby for me though, it's a way I can provide for my family. And when shit hits the fan, I need to be able to keep up, and need to be able to help keep us fed. So without killing myself, because honestly, this last back surgery I had, worst pain of my life, worst thing I've ever had to do. And it's all because the year before last, I tried to dig a hole to plant a hacksaw bush on a hill in a rocky soil, and I blew a disc out of my back. So, no problem, Eric. It is what it is. Winter Homestead, how you doing? So being able to get the tools that help me to garden effectively without crippling myself even more. Now, granted, I'm still really sore after this. It's the surgery did help when our homestead. I was from when I blew my back out till I had the surgery, I was pretty much laid up. The recovery was the worst thing I ever went through. If it wasn't for having a husband and kids that needed me, I don't think I would have suffered for long, if you know what I'm saying. It was that painful and that bad. But now I'm able to do things again that I really oh, enjoy your burgers, JS. Um, so it was horrible, but now I'm on the mend. I'm back in the garden. I can walk again. I'll be getting on the motorcycle as soon as hubby has time to get it out and it quits raining for long enough. So I'm glad I did it. When I had 2 discs replaced in my neck, it was a piece of cake compared to this. I mean, I was up cooking in 3 days. So um, neck not so bad, but the lumbar fusion was horrible. But again, glad I did it now. When the recovery was happening, and granted, I was recovering in a 1-room cabin with no indoor plumbing, so I was having to walk to an outhouse and having my teenager help me with the shower. It was horrible, and the living conditions that we were in weren't helping it. But again, glad I did it. And if you have back issues, get it done now. The healthcare system is crumbling right before our eyes. Everybody I know that works in healthcare is seeing it, and I don't see that getting any better anyway. Um, so, oh, and it's Saturday. Today's mango margaritas, and tomorrow's Mother's Day, so I'm not doing anything. So I am going to just chill out and relax as much as I can. So, cheers. But anyway, there's a couple of tools that I invested in this year to help me be able to garden without hurting myself even further. And oh, thank you, Winter Homestead, to you and all the mothers out there. Hey, CUCV, how you doing? And I wanted to do this too. There you go. And so I've been looking for ways to not kill myself and things that I'll still be able to use even after, everything happens. So the key here is not manual tools so much because I hurt myself using a shovel, but getting things that can be recharged using our solar generator or, generator power, or even with a power inverter in the car if need be. So the first thing I got is this. My husband got me this, or gave me one of his old Porter cable drills because he's upgraded to Milwaukee everything, tool guys. So I got this auger, and you can see it's been well used the last week. It was under $10 on Amazon, and I love it. It helps me to dig everything up so much nicer. And we have really hard, like clay and shale and tons of rocks around here. And I just can't do it. I don't have the physical strength. I don't have the spinal fortitude. See you later, OVP. So it's oh, that sucks, Eric. Yeah. Oh man, that sucks. Have you tried PT? I don't react well to PT, but it's helped me. Try red light therapy too. That's been helping me as well. But anyway, so this has loosened things up so that I can actually dig. And if something gets stuck or roots get wrapped around it, I just flick the reverse button, and it comes right up. Yeah, I hear you there, Eric. I can't do PT either, so that sucks. But definitely try red light therapy. One of my neuros actually told me about it. He showed me a small red light therapy mat on Amazon. It was under $40. And when I actually take the time to use it, I definitely do notice a difference. So, and again, that's something, it's powered with a USB plug. So if you had to, you could plug that into a solar generator. You could plug it into one of those small solar power banks that you keep in the window. I even have two USB powered heating pads that I keep in the car. So right now I just plug them into the car, but there have been like events that I've had to go to and I've needed a heating pad and I've just plugged it into that little solar power bank and it worked for probably 45 minutes, I think. I kind of lost track after a while, but it was enough to help me out when I really needed it, and it's a renewable source of energy. Um, Another little tool that I got is I got myself a rechargeable electric staple gun. So one of the things that I've had to do the last couple weeks is I had to put up new chicken wire in the doorway of the chicken coop because we have two chickens that are broody right now. And my dog Sansa, is sweet and lovable and nice as she is, she loves live chicken nuggets. It's her favorite food. And yeah, I know what you mean, Eric, though. After my surgery, if I didn't have a husband and kids, it was that bad. It was rough. Um, yeah, I hear you, Winter Homestead. I've actually discolored part of my back from being on the heating pad so much before my surgery and during recovery. But anyway, so I was trying to put up chicken wire to keep the dog out and the chicks in. Um, and I was using the old fashioned like squeeze staple gun. And I just, with the nerve damage that is in like my back and my neck, I just don't have the arm strength anymore to do it. Plus, I was hunched over and bending and trying to, line things up, and it was just really rough on me. So this is my Mother's Day present to myself. Um, this one's made by Arrow. I saw some other ones, but being that our other staple guns are made by Arrow, and I know and trust them, this was under $50 on Amazon and it's rechargeable. So again, can plug it into the solar generator, can plug it into, any 110 power source and charge it up. And it has made things so easy. I've been looking for things to staple, but the main reason I got it is because I have, I think 600 feet of deer netting that I need to put around the perimeter of the new garden. And there was no way I was going to be able to do it with the manual staple gun. So I've got this loaded up with half-inch T50 staples, and this will be perfect to go around our old existing fence posts to stretch out that deer netting. And that's going to keep out our chickens, our cats, our dogs, and of course, it'll keep out deer, but usually our dogs keep the deer away just fine. So, this is my baby right here now. And I can't wait to find some more projects to use it on. So, yeah, exactly, Winter Homestead. And I can't let the cats dig it up, and I can't let the chickens peck at it, and I can't let the dogs run through it. I mean, I don't want to say this is our livelihood because things aren't to that point yet. Chance, you just need to get a Great Pyrenees. That's all. They will chase everything away. But we're not to the point where we have to be self-sufficient yet. But I'm trying to get us to the point where, God forbid, we had to be, we could be. So I'm really focusing on permaculture this year. Yes, I have my tomatoes and zucchini and things like that, ready to go in. But things that are going to produce year after year is where it's at. And a lot of people, when they think permaculture, they just think fruit trees. And well, that's great. Oh, a bear, huh? Yeah, luckily we don't have too many of those around here. Last year there was one on our hill, and of course the neighborhood watch groups were blowing up, but it didn't come down here because we have two big dogs, and they pretty much keep everything away. The only thing that scares me is that when we can hear the coyotes coming in close, I really worry about our dogs getting tangled up with them. But so far it hasn't happened, knock on wood here. We did have Sansa get into a porcupine last year, and of course, they've both been sprayed by their fair share of skunks, but it's just because they're too dumb to leave anything alone. Eric, we don't have ducks anymore, but we used to. And I'm with your wife on this one because ducks can be so messy. And also, if you're raising like non-flight breeds like Pekings or Muscovies or any of the runner ducks, um, they cannot get away from predators even the way that chickens can. At least chickens can flap a little bit and get up on a roost. Um, we had a flock of about 15 ducks wiped out in about 15 minutes that we weren't paying attention one year. A fox was teaching her kits how to hunt, came in, wiped them all out 5 feet from my deck, left them there at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I just opened the coop to let them out. They were free ranging, came inside, made a cup of coffee, went out, and it was a massacre, like right by the deck. So I'm with your wife on that one. I think ducks do better if they're penned up, even if it's a portable, like movable pen, and you can move them from spot to spot. But again, do you have the stuff to make a new coop or pen or run if it hits the fan and there is no Lowe's or Ace or Home Depot? Do you have those things? Because honestly, most of that stuff does come from overseas. And if you don't have it now, think about it. It's like people say, oh, I'll put razor wire and barbed wire on my property. Well, that's great. But do you have it now? Do you have the fencing staples? Do you have fencing pliers? It's just people have all these grand plans, and that's wonderful. I mean, we should be wargaming all the time. Not to the point where it's causing like adrenal fatigue and we're paranoid and freaking out and not enjoying life, but we need to be thinking of all these scenarios. And if you have plans to do something fantastic, but don't count on being able to find the stuff to enact those plans until when it's too late. You need to get that stuff now. Like right now, I mean, I don't have a pressure canner anymore. It got yeeted out of my outdoor kitchen and we found it, but it's totally bent and there is no fixing that. Not that I would even trust it after it's bent. All my canning jars got destroyed. So I've got to slowly build those up. So I'm working on getting those things. And yes, everything does cost so damn much now, but it's a matter of it's not going to get cheaper. I don't foresee any situation where these things are going to come down in price. It's not like gasoline where something goes up and then it's cheaper again. When I bought my pressure canner and hey KP, how you doing? When I bought my pressure canner in 2012, it cost me $89. That same pressure canner that's sitting in my Amazon cart right now is $138. And these people, once they're able to jack up that price, and even if it is truly inflation, if inflation comes down, they're not going to lower that price. They're going to find any excuse to keep it up there. Yeah, TR, that definitely. I've been thinking about doing that with our trampoline, but the kids still use it a lot. So the kids that are still home are 17, almost 11, and almost 13, and they still, get out there. That's great, Eric. And make sure you have extra. Make sure that you have the stuff that you need to repair that stuff that you're getting in. Some of the other things that I talked about soap and lye and things like that. Like, do you have the stuff to make like your skincare and your shampoo? Sunscreen is going to be a big one. A lot of people are moving away from commercial sunscreens anyway because they're full of all kinds of toxic crap. But do you have the stuff to make your sunscreen and continue on? And exactly, CUCB. But it's like shampoo and stuff. Like my daughter and I, the older one, we've been experimenting with different like shampoo bar and conditioner bar recipes and things like that. Like, figure these things out now so you can find something that your family likes, find something that works for you, and then stockpile the ingredients that need for that. And that's great for you, Eric. But me being, a redhead with freckles, sometimes I need something, especially when I'm out on the kayak. I've gotten a little more tolerant to the sun as I've gotten older, but the kids, are pretty fair skinned. Um, Luckily, they take a little bit more after their dad in that department, but I'd prefer that they didn't get like blistering sunburn like I had as a kid. So um, there's that. If you have wives and daughters, there's the whole feminine product issue. Buy some like washable, reusable stuff and sock it away. Because some people say, "Oh, I'll make those things." Okay, great. If you're going to make them, though, do you have the pattern? Do you have the snaps or Velcro? Do you have the fabric? Do you have a sewing machine that you're going to be able to potentially run without power? These are all things that people say, well, this is what my plan is. Fantastic. But think about the things that you need to implement those plans. Um, it's just, you're lucky, CUCV. My half sister is blonde, and she just bronzes right up. We have different dads, and I get the red hair from both sides of the family, and she got the blonde from her father's German and Belgian side of the family, but she gets dark. I am not that lucky. Um, but is there anything that you guys can think of, put it in the chat, things that you can think of that people don't think to stock to be able to make things. Um, there's all the ingredients for sunscreen. That's like carrot seed oil, raspberry seed oil, vitamin E, jojoba oil, and the non-nano zinc oxide. And the non-nano zinc oxide is also like a lifesaver if you're making your own diaper rash ointment or chafing ointment. We're all getting older. Think about the kinds of problems that older people have. Do you have the things to make like a shingles cream? Because let's face it, any of us who have either had chickenpox as a child or went and got the shingles vaccine or the chickenpox vaccine, there's a good chance that you're going to end up with shingles. And I hear it's horrible. Yep, toothpaste, toothbrushes, those are a big thing. That's not off, Eric. That's not inappropriate. But thank you. I take a lot of shit sometimes for being a redhead, and then I take a lot of shit sometimes where people are like, "You're not a redhead," blah blah blah. Well, there's different levels. Like I'm not a true like orange ginger, but like it's red. Nail clippers, yes. First aid supplies. And first aid supplies like can you make your own once you run out of what you have? Do you have things like like rubbing alcohol that can be used to make like hand sanitizer and other things? Are you growing an aloe plant that you can like, make skin instead of just using the aloe, which is fine for a lot of things, but there's other things that you can make using the aloe to help you, and aloe can be a great laxative too. I have the mother of all gigantic aloe plants. I have it in like a 10-gallon planter. I think I showed it on a previous video. That thing is gigantic, and I did finally get it transplanted, and it's like it's as big as an agave plant, even though it's not agave. And for those people who drink, do you have tobacco seeds stocked away? And do you know how to grow tobacco? Because it's not just a matter of planting it. I mean, it needs light to germinate. Do you have, a safe place where you could like sprinkle it out and not have the birds get to it? Or do you have LED grow lights, that you can germinate it inside and transplant it? Do you know how to cure tobacco? Because you don't just pick it and eat it. It has to dry and ferment and do all kinds of things. And these are the kinds of things that people need to think about because they say, oh, I'll grow my own, I'll make my own, I'll build this, I'll do that. Wonderful, but make sure you have the tools and the supplies. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but so many people I know that are fairly seasoned preppers have not thought about these things. They thought about what they're going to do, but they haven't thought about getting the stuff to do them. Um, Yes, UCV, a mechanical watch, definitely. And actually, um, for I don't know if it was his birthday or Father's Day or Christmas a couple years ago, I got my husband one of those Timexes that recharge with solar. So when he's wearing it outside and mowing the lawn and everything, that thing is always, charging anytime it's in the light. So, I mean, there you go. Yeah, Eric, it could help you to quit, but at the same time, if things are going down that bad, do you want to subject your family to the mood swings and the stress, like while you're trying to get set up, and everything is new and you're trying to get into the new routine? Because it's going to be a stressful situation. If it gets to the point where we really have to like switch to like going back a couple decades, if not more. Um, is that really when you want to be stressed out trying to quit? Um, you can always ask your doctor for a prescription for like something to help quit, like Chantix or Wellbutrin or something, and not take it yet. My husband smokes. He has a prescription for, I think it's the generic of Wellbutrin, but he tried to take it and it made him have really crazy dreams. And so he quit, but we have it so that if it becomes absolutely necessary for him to quit, we do have that to kind of help, but and we already know kind of what his side effects are. Um, a lot of people, I did a post about natural remedies being being helpful and being great, but sometimes there is a need for Western medicine. And things like that are things like thyroid meds and, like life sustaining things, thyroid meds, insulin. Um, I'm trying to think of some others. I'm not on a lot of those, so I don't know, but I am on thyroid meds. And so, one of the best ways to stock up on that is to ask your doctor, I guess all day chemist, you don't really need a prescription. You just skip that part and they will ship you like real generic drugs. But but you can ask your doctor to send a prescription, like a 90-day prescription with refills to like a Walmart pharmacy, or I know a lot of grocery stores have cheap generics, and just tell them that you're afraid of the supply chain, issues happening and you'd like to have, a backup, and have them call that into a pharmacy where you've already set yourself up as a cash customer. And you tell the pharmacy that you are not running things through the insurance, that you're paying cash. And so like, I know 90-day supply of thyroid meds at Walmart is $10. So, that's an option. You can do that. And you can order, if you're paying cash, you can get your refills like that. They don't care as long as they're not a controlled substance. Blood pressure medicine, yeah, that's another one. And there's also Eric, yeah. That's good. Hey, old mutt, how are you? Um Korean gardening methods, huh? That's really interesting. I'd love to know more about that. Um 40 years is all it took. Yeah. My husband and I have been married. It'll be going on 14 years in October. So we haven't had 40 years, but I'm trying to move full steam ahead as fast as we can. And poor guy, with everything going on with the house, and we still don't have everything set up. We still don't have all our furniture. He just did this plaster finish wall, and I don't know if he's going to leave it like that or if he's going to do another skim coat. But this is like a unique thing. Um, he's really active in like the drywall online community because he's a drywall contractor. And this is actually two different products from two different people that he knows through the different groups. And one of them is an additive to drywall mud that gives it like a plaster finish and texture. And the other thing is like a tint that you can mix into drywall mud and put it on, like paint. So between the two of them, it's like a colored plaster wall. And I'm kind of digging it. So this is actually, I'm in where, oh, congratulations, CUCV, still newlyweds. Um, so I don't know whether I'm going to call this the STP studio or if I'm going to call it the dungeon, just because it kind of looks like, an old plaster interior castle wall. So I guess we'll see. I'll see what the vibe is once I get all my furniture and stuff in here and see how it goes. Um, 23 years. Wow, congratulations. My oldest son just turned 24 this past week. And I can't imagine having been married to his dad for that long. But like when I think that, I was first married, God, the first time I got married was 1998. When I think about how long ago that was, I don't feel like I'm like my body feels that old and more, but my brain's the same as it was. I think I'm just a little more forgetful now. But I chalk that up to, hormones at this age. Um, that's awesome, CUCV. That's really great. My grandparents were married for 40 some years, and then they died within a day of each other. Like my grandfather died during the surgery, and then my grandmother died the next day of a broken heart, literally. And you know, I, that's true love. I just I love my husband, and but I can't imagine that. Like, it blows my mind that we've been together as long as we have. We've been together 15 years now, and it just like, yeah, so UCV, I've got a couple of years on you. Oh, yeah, 98. I got married in 98 the first time. But yeah, I graduated in 96, so I guess I've got a couple of years on you. But I should have a little table here. I don't have anywhere to put this thing. So one of the other things, are you okay, honey? The daughters are rummaging through the fridge. She has a friend sleeping over tonight, so Lord only knows what they'll be cooking up. But one of the other things that you can do if you are diabetic is there's something called Insulin Plant that you can grow. Oh, wow, old mutt, that's amazing. You can grow Insulin Plant like a house plant. You can grow, I think it's Japanese barberry maybe that will give you berberine, which is called nature's metformin. Um, there is some, I think it's Asian bottle gourd or Chinese bottle gourd. It's something bottle gourd, and that also helps to lower blood sugar levels. And there's lots of different, herbs and teas and stuff that will help that. And even though it might not be a total replacement for insulin, combined, like used as a rescue thing, combined with, a low or no carb diet, it can really help. Yeah, Eric, so you're my age. My oldest he just turned 24. My husband's oldest just turned 27 in January. And then, so we have, between the two of us, we have 6. So we have 27, 24, 24, 17, almost 11, and almost 13. So my almost 11-year-old is my baby, and he's not such a baby anymore. His feet are bigger than mine, and that's, oh, you have a twin, CUCV? I didn't know that. That's awesome. So yeah, I feel like I'm rambling on now, but I think you guys get the point of what I'm trying to say. And I know I'm forgetting some of the things that I wanted to mention, but think of it as ingredients, supplies, and equipment. And those are the 3 things that you need to make sure that whatever your SHTF plans are, that you have enough to do that, but also to repair or replace them if they break down or get ruined or anything during SHTF. It's an area that I find a lot of people ignore. And, it's something that a lot of preppers are going to, feel that hardship when they realize that they didn't adequately prepare for those things. They may have all the food and all the water and all the medical supplies, but if they don't have the equipment and the supplies to keep going, and this is extended, then it's going to be an issue. Yeah, Eric, my husband and I were both in our mid 30s when we got together, and I didn't like, we were open to having children together. Um, I just didn't think that I would be having 2 within 2 years. So, um, they're 5 days short of being 2 years apart. So we have, his 2 oldest children share the same birthday in January, 3 years apart. And then I've got my oldest son in May, and then our 2 young and then we have another January birthday. His, teenager that lives with us, she is was born 2 days after my birthday, and then, our 2 youngest, they're 5 days short of being 2 years apart, so we always end up with joint birthday parties. We have a January birthday party because it's me, the 17-year-old, and his mom, and his 2 oldest, so that's, like, all the January birthdays, and then the other 2 in June, and then my oddball son is in May, so, um, it gets interesting, but the shared birthday parties are the way to go. They're not always thrilled with it, but everybody gets their own cake, so I guess it works out all right. And they all have the same friends anyway. So yeah, CUCV, that's crazy. We had an ice storm here probably 3 or 4 years ago, and it was in April, the beginning of April, and it knocked out our power for 4 days. And most people were freaking out and panicking. Um, we didn't do too bad at all, and that was before we had our whole house generator hookup. So we just, ran the fridges and freezers with a generator, and I had solar power banks everywhere, and we charged devices in the car when we had to. Um, oh, that's cool, Eric. So did you guys have the double birthday parties too? Um, and that's the other thing too is, people don't think about celebrations when SHTF happens either. You know, it's going to mean a lot more to be able to make somebody a birthday cake, when life is so much harder and they don't have all the luxuries that they're used to having. A birthday cake is going to be something damn special if you can provide it. So, think about stuff like that. Do you have the recipes to make a cake from scratch or to make a cake from the things that are in your preps? Um, cake mixes do go bad. I've had it happen. They don't. It's not that they taste bad. It's just that they don't rise as well. So you end up with kind of a flat cake. So, I just want everybody to be ready. This all the stuff going on right now is very sus. And it seems like they just keep adding more and more things to the stack of pancakes. How many pancakes can you get before they start collapsing under each other or it just completely falls over? So, oh, that's awesome, CUCV. Yeah, I have a friend who runs an organic farm, and he raises steers and pigs, and also Freedom Farms in is fairly local to me. It's another town over. They're known nationwide now. They've been on Fox Business. The owner and his wife, he was a trainer for the New York Yankees, and then, bought a farm over here, and now they ship everywhere. And it's a little pricey, but it's amazing meat. So, I would back them any day. Um, oh, you're going to the OC Music Festival? Is that during, oh, that's next weekend. Um, I'm trying to think if that's the one during OC Bike Fest or not, because I do have friends that go to OC Bike Fest every year, and they have tons of concerts there. Um, so that's really cool. Depending on, well, you're coming up from North Carolina, right, Eric? So you wouldn't be coming through New York at all. So, but anybody who's fairly local to me who isn't going to Visions Bug Out Weekend next week or the Ocean City Music Fest, the second annual Southern Tier Prepper Farm and Garden Swap is next Saturday in Lisle, New York. There's event info on my Facebook page, and I would love to see anybody who can make it. That would be fantastic. That it was there's an alarm for the kids to take their medicine, but they're out playing, so I'm not going to push it. So anywho, that's really about it. I just want to encourage everybody to think about things from a different angle. Think about the repair, the replacement, and on top of implementing your plans and get everything that you can. That's awesome, old Mike. I've been seeing on your Instagram the stuff that you are doing with the solar, and that's just amazing. We only have the one small opus that they sent me, and I love it. Like, it's great, but I wouldn't mind having something bigger. Um, it's just not really in the budget right now. Exactly, CUCB farmer. Buy winter clothes now. My husband gets a little upset sometimes because when the teenager outgrows their winter clothes, I don't get rid of them. I hang on to those suckers for the next girl coming up. And then, sometimes at the end of the season when everything goes on sale, I'll buy like next year's coats and things. And I have a really hard time getting rid of coats until everybody in the house has outgrown them. Just because, coats rip. I had to buy a new coat this year because my other one was packed away with the accident and everything happening, and I couldn't find it. So I bought a cheap $30 one, and sure enough, like towards the end of the winter, it like snagged on something when I was getting stuff out of storage, and it's got a big old rip in it. But I can fix it. I do have the stuff and I do have the knowledge that I can repair things like that. So, okay. Have fun, Eric. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for modding. I appreciate it. So anyway, that's where we're at. Is there anything else that anybody wants to ask or that I can help with or no? Pasta. That's another thing is, do you know how to make pasta? Easiest thing in the world. I know how to do it. But if you have a KitchenAid mixer, you could run that off of a solar generator and make all kinds of shapes of pasta. I got the pasta extruder attachment for my KitchenAid, and I can make 7 different kinds of pasta at least. Yes, UCB solar won't be reliable for us either, but we still do, get enough light. It might take a couple days to charge it, but it can be done. So yeah, exactly, old my teenager and I, well, she's not my teenager, my almost teenager, she'll be a teenager next month, is my thrifting buddy. Like, we go to the thrift store every time we leave the house together. And spices to CUCB, and grow your own herbs. They are the easiest thing in the world. Get some seeds, plop them into a window planter, and stick them in your kitchen window. There's just so much, and so many people get so tunneled in on one or two things. They don't go for the whole multifaceted, I worry about people. I don't think I really have to worry about anybody who's in the chat right now, but I really do worry about the people who, don't know what they don't know. And that's why I tell people, it's like, don't be afraid. Like, I'm not the expert in everything, but I know a lot about a lot. So please, if there's any questions, except for sourdough, don't ask me about sourdough because I do not know yet. It's something that I'm going to work on once my kitchen is, done and I have an oven that works. But I'm no sourdough expert, but I will be someday. So if nobody has any, questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, I think I got to say hi to everybody. Um, you know, I worry about people, and, please, if there's anything I can ever help any of you guys with, email me, SouthernTierPrepper@gmail.com. Yeah, CUCB, even a small one, start small and figure out what you like, what you don't like, and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But be ready to make it a bigger one if you have to. Although with your access to beef, you could definitely go carnivore, and I don't think you'd have to worry about it for a long time. But that's the other thing too. People with livestock, can you repair your fences? Can you handle a down cow? Can you handle milk fever? Do you have the stuff to do that? Can you handle a calf with scours? Just people have all these plans, but then don't have the stuff to implement them. So anyway, happy Saturday to everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. All of you men who have children, I don't want to hear anybody pull the, well, you're not my mother bullshit. Go get her something nice. Or do something nice for her if you can't get her something nice. A little bit of kindness goes a long way, and none of us would be here without a mother. Even the bad ones, we wouldn't be here without them. So, enjoy your weekend. Have a cold one if you are so inclined. Smoke them if you got them, and do your research and prep on.